Hey book lovers, my name is Em and I want to talk about books and cats. Hey book lovers, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. We're talking books, cats, and writing over here, and probably some other stuff too. I'm a late-diagnosed ADHD book and cat-loving author, and I am so psyched about my current project. I'm working on a new collection of short stories, and I am already so happy with them, and I'm in the early draft stages, so that's pretty awesome. I'm entering the editing and rewriting phase, which is by far the most intensive part, but I'm excited to refine these stories. Editing doesn't feel as, daunting with this one. Plus, I am also planning a solo trip to focus on editing and regain some of my peace. This summer has been a really tough one, and honestly, it went by in a flash. It has been emotional and stressful, and I am looking forward to a more relaxed and peaceful fall, if that's possible. As always, when I need a reset, I go to the ocean. And while my plans aren't solidified yet, I am most likely going back to Maine again. There's just something magical and healing about the ocean. I always want to be there. I'm very much looking forward to my trip, even if a good chunk of it is going to be spent in a hotel room editing. I kind of love that too. Makes me feel like a real author. So, I have a huge correction to make this week. I'm usually much more careful, but I messed up majorly in the last episode. Multiple times, I called the author of The God of the Woods by the incorrect name. Her name is Liz Moore. I will say that I was having a very tough time while I was working on that episode, but honestly, it's a pretty ridiculous and huge mistake to make on a podcast about books. So I am so sorry, Liz Moore, for messing up your name. I adored your book. Anyway, life continues in Books and Cats land. We are back to being a strictly cat house, and things have been much quieter. Sort of. It's okay. It's more relaxing for sure, but honestly, I was worried that things were going to be a little dull. I miss my Aussie boy, but the cats do continue to step up their presence, let me tell you. I bought them a bunch of jingle balls because they are obsessed, and I also sprinkled catnip all over the place, and they went nuts. It was adorable. Two of the three, the boys, of course, have been just glued to my side lately, and it's so sweet. It really makes my heart feel better, honestly. I feel like they're kind of stepping up in place of the dog. They both come running to meet me at the door now when I get home, which is just the cutest thing ever. Yeah, they're helping me heal my heart for sure. I feel like I'm just getting over a huge time of loss, but the thing about loss is that there's always something else waiting in the wings, so I try to look at it as making room for the next thing, for hopefully something better, you know? I don't know if better works when it's my dog, but just making room for whatever comes next. Yeah, life comes in waves, and all you can really do is ride it, unfortunately. It doesn't help to try to fight against them. If you've been to the ocean, you know that's true. Anyway, enough emotional stuff. Let's talk about a book. One that's not super serious, but that I enjoyed. Let's talk about Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. So this one was a listening experience. I got it as an audiobook from Audible, and it incorporates a lot of sound effects, which caught me off guard at the beginning, and honestly, it took me a minute to adjust to it, but it did work for the style of story, and once I got used to it, it was an enjoyable listen. So essentially in this book, there is an unnamed narrator throughout the story who is recruited by an old classmate named Valentina for a visionary amateur movie about a group of teenage outcasts who set out to create a monster. So I had some expectations going into this one, and I was pleasantly surprised. There have been several haunted videotape movies, and I was so glad that this one was not that. The plot of their film follows the director, screenwriter, and a mutual friend who are all playing themselves as disaffected teens who enslave and torture a classmate who throughout the whole thing is known only as the Thin Kid. Which, what a great creepy name, the Thin Kid. He also always wears this like really creepy mask. The mask becomes very significant and it's just an incredible visual. Really well done. So it's set in 1993. This group of young guerrilla filmmakers spend 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a notorious, disturbing art house horror flick. So the weird part is that only 3 of the film's scenes were ever released to the public. But somehow Horror Movie has still grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big-budget reboot, and the man who played the Thin Kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay, the bizarre events of the filming, and the dangerous crossed lines on set that resulted in tragedy. As the memories come back to him, the boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur. But he does agree to help remake the film, even if it means going back to a world of cynical producers, egomaniacal directors. But he is still going to help them remake the film, no matter what may come up during the process and what may result from those events. This was definitely an experience, and I highly recommend giving it a listen, especially as we get closer to spooky season. Definitely check out Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Just be ready for the sound effects. So, quick cat update. The Frappier cats continue to thrive in their newly inherited kingdom. Sassers is so much more relaxed now, and she has discovered my youngest son's new bed. So now she can sleep in comfort and peace. Plus, Max is her favorite person, and she's just a much happier girl. She's been chirping like all over the place. It is so cute. The boys have been attached at the hip lately, and it's really adorable. They play fight every morning. They nap together on the couch most of the day. I'll add some pictures. They're so precious. They each have a catnip pillow, and the antics have been hilarious. The 8-year-old plays as hard as the 2-year-old. It's amazing. They're such buds now, and I just love them. It's so sweet. They both had a connection with the dog, and I think that they kind of like are clinging to each other, you know? It's so sweet. I just love cats. So now it's time for the quote of the week. This week, I've got a few quotes. I took them all from Horror Movie just because I thought they were kind of interesting. So they're all by Paul Tremblay. They're all from Horror Movie. The first one is, choice being real and an illusion at the same time is a horror. Which, like, yeah. The second is, a movie is a collection of beautiful lies that somehow add up to being the truth. Or a truth. I love that too. There's a lot of discussion about like, what is a movie in this book? And I've always found the movie making process to be interesting. I was a theater person, and they're not the same. They don't really obviously transfer, but they're similar enough, you know, and I've always found the process just fascinating, you know? Anyway, final quote. The mask is ugly and grotesque and familiar, and we cannot stop staring at it because all monsters are mirrors. And I like that too. Just when you're seeing something evil and feeling a certain way about them, it really is reflecting on you. And I can't tell you how much right now this one is hitting in my personal life. But yeah, it's interesting to see how people react when they think they can judge someone. It's interesting. Anyway, that is all for this episode, book lovers. Thank you for joining me for corrections, creepy stories, and crazy cats. I hope you have a beautiful week. Get a good scare, if that's what you like. And until next time, keep reading.